I just had the most interesting conversation with ChatGPT and between ChatGPT and myself as a result of a Neil Degrasse Tyson video about the 3 fears that drive us to accomplish extraordinary things. So the video that I watched, so basically I want to make this video because one, this is like, it just made me smile, and so I wanted to share it with the world. And I haven't really heard this perspective before, and so I just wanted to share the entire interaction that I had after watching the video, and then with ChatGPT, and then what my takeaways are about it. And I realize that this is a horrible YouTube video so far because I haven't even told you what the conversation was even about, but hopefully via the title you have some sort of idea. But essentially, well, I did talk about the 3 fears, right? And so I watched this video. I didn't watch this exact one. It was a YouTube short where Neil Degrasse Tyson, good old Neil, right, was talking about the 3 fears that drive us humans to accomplish extraordinary things. And in his context, it was for the reason of, like, how are we going to get to Mars? Because Mars is going to be extremely expensive. And the 3 reasons are praise of a deity or a god, right? And war, and basically improvement or like prospect of massive wealth. And so I took that and I was like, that's a really good point. I really appreciate that. And I cut away the first one, right? Praise of deity and royalty, because we see that one a lot less and less. It's, personally, I'm not much of a religious person, and I think that a lot of religious activities are rooted in unknowing, which was a big thing back in the day, right? You didn't know when the rains were going to happen in Egypt, and so maybe I don't know why they built all the various things that they built. I think some of them were tombs. Doesn't matter. Either way, I think God and deities and stuff are rooted in unknowing. So we really are only left with 2 primary drivers, all right, of human action. Just 2. And I tried to find more, and I couldn't find any more. And the first one, the most powerful primary driver of human action, is not dying. All right? This is like number 1, and it's very obvious, right? It makes a lot of sense. If you die, there's nothing ever after that, right? In my opinion, right? So it's the biggest driver out there. Even religious people, I feel like there wouldn't be anything after that in this life, because that life would have just ended, right? So maybe if there's something after it somewhere else, that's great. But in this life are only people who haven't died. And so only people who haven't died can do anything. And so the biggest driver for action is to not die, because if you die, you can't ever take any action ever again. So it takes precedent over all other action drivers. All right? So not dying is number 1. And then the second one, which is a little bit nicer because it doesn't involve the prospect of death, is massive growth, right? Or massive wealth, right? Self-improvement, right? Which is really what this channel is all about. So if you're into that, stick around. We got some amazing videos coming out. I'm gonna start editing soon, but right now this is just gonna be me ranting at the camera, all right? So, not wanting, you can think for a second, right? What my mind did is I was like, I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel right now. I'm trying to provide you value, and so we build a community. And if I was told that if I don't get this YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers in a month, I could probably get this channel to 100,000 subscribers in a month, right? What would I do? I would drop out of school immediately, right? I would go find someone who was crazy enough to give me some money. I would get some better editors, right? I would get a better camera. I would spend hours out of my day searching for good ideas that not only were, clickable, watchable, deliver on the promise, right? And, connect with the audience. So it's not just a viewable video, but like people actually want to subscribe from it. I would do all these things. Is it evergreen, right? Like, is it going to give me subscribers over time, right? I would meticulously flow over this because my life was on the line, right? If my life was on the line, and so that's like, first of all, that's crazy, because I actually believe that if someone was going to kill me in 30 days, if I didn't get this channel to 100,000 subscribers, and I could do it, that's crazy, because that's like a massive feat in of itself, and I do believe that, and I don't think I will get anywhere close to 100,000 subscribers in 30 days, because no one's gonna kill me if I don't, right? And so it's not as big of a driver. The driver that's pushing me right now is the second one, the prospect of growth, right? Of making myself better, of improving my social standing, right? Of improving my ability to articulate ideas to a camera / to other people, right? I keep saying right. It's something that I'm working on. When I don't script my videos, I say right a lot because maybe it's like an inner sign that I'm unsure of myself. I'm 22, so maybe you shouldn't take... This is just an interesting video, all right? There I go again. So, after that, my mind was like, okay, so there are these two primary drivers of action, right? Action drivers. Not ending, right? Not dying, not stopping to exist, and growth. And so then I was like, okay, how can I efficiently try to think of more of these? Chat GPT, all right? Now I pay for Chat GPT 4. I will say, Sam Altman, you have an amazing value proposition with Chat GPT 4. I think it's like $20 a month. It's the best $20 a month I spend, to be honest. Like Chat GPT 4 versus Chat GPT 3.5. I mean, I'm scared that I'm helping them make this model better, which I definitely am, but whatever. All right, so the first question I asked ChatGPT is, two of the biggest drivers, I'll move this to the side. Shoot. Okay. We'll go like this, and then we'll go boom, boom, boom. All right, two of the biggest drivers for taking an action are the drivers of I don't want to die and I want to grow / improve. This makes sense in the context of evolution. Can you help brainstorm some other first principles drivers for taking action? It's okay if these are the only two, and try to rank them. All right, like, I don't want to die is first, and then improvement is second. And then ChatGPT says certainly, it does its usual like good stuff, and then it lists a bunch of these drivers, which are drivers for action, right? Survival, reproduction, belonging and love, security and safety. But I'm reading through these, and these are all great things, and I put this in a Google Doc because I want to remember this. But I say, my analysis of your response is that all of those reasons could be categorized as sub-reasons in one of the two categories I said before. Would you agree? If so, please sort them accordingly, right, into each of the two categories, and then try to come up with an actual root driver, not a subclass, right? There I go saying right again. So, your perspective offers an insightful simplification. Thank you, ChatGPT. I appreciate you saying that. Viewing many complex motivators and derivatives of two fundamental drives, the drive to avoid death, I don't want to die, and the drive to grow and improve, I want to grow and improve. Thank you for restating that. When we categorize the previously mentioned motivators under these two broad categories, it looks something like this. And then it did exactly what I asked. I love this. And it put, drive to avoid death, survival, security and safety, pleasure and avoidance of pain. Perfect. And then drive to grow and improve, I want to grow and improve, reproduction, which honestly, I'm not sure. I think that one could be iffy, because in the long term, you're not going to live forever. Except for me, I'm going to live forever. Jokes, kind of. But reproduction in the context of evolution is actually a force for living forever, right? Because if you have kids that live on, they came from you, they're kind of like a part of you, right? They're not actually, their consciousness isn't carried over, but their physical being is, you're partly there. And so we are all just things that haven't ended yet. So reproduction goes either way, but also I can see reproduction as being like growth as well, because you can build a family and all that stuff. Belonging and love, learning and curiosity, power, control, exploration and adventure, right? These are all growth, I want to improve drivers. And so then I'm looking at this, and I'm in a bunch of biology classes right now, and so my brain immediately goes, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then it distilled it even further, right? And I really like this. Maintain and enhance one state of being. So that is a single line that encompasses every single action driver for any conscious being. And that's beautiful. Maintain and enhance one state of being. All right, so maintain is to not die, and enhance is the grow part, right? So in one sentence, we got both. Loved it. Thank you, Chat GPT. All right, so I said I would totally agree, right? A little bit of positive feedback. So is there really no other fundamental driver of action, right? Because I wish that there was, I want to come up with like, oh, of course, another primary fundamental driver of action is, who knows, right? I think it's really just this, improve and not die. What would be the phylogeny, right? So phylogeny is categorizing of the action driver that causes people to mindlessly scroll on TikTok. Because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, I could see a little bit like a path how this would be categorized, but why am I wasting my time, or why did I used to want to waste my time on Instagram Reels? So far, I have yet to doom scroll Instagram Reels. If you're my friend and you're watching this and I've sent you an Instagram Reel, that's because Instagram has this feature where if you check your homepage for your friends' post, it gets to show you one meme if you don't scroll down, if none of your friends have posted. And I see that meme, and they've gotten really good at making it a really funny meme, and so I send it to my friends. But I have not doom scrolled in 2024, which is double thumbs up. So what is the phylogeny of the action driver that drives people to mindlessly scroll on TikTok? A bit of a lot of words, but if you're following along, you will really appreciate what I'm talking about here. And if you're not, then you're probably already stopped watching this video. So, as in which domain? The domain would be not die or improve, right? Those are the two domains. Just like how in life, there are the domains of like archaea, bacteria, and eukarya, and we're under eukarya. And phylum, right? So, the ones you just listed. So, I said that these like subclasses of like, power and control is a phylum under the domain of improvement or self-improvement, right? And I would also say power and control, now that I think about it, is also a little bit not dying. But the exact perfect categorization of these doesn't need to be precise. In fact, I would say that probably these are imperfect overall statements that actually contain multiple action drivers below that could have different parts in different domains. It's a bit of a weird thing to think about. So, as in which domain, not die or improve, which phylum, the ones you just listed, or a new one, and class may just be the driver itself, right? So here I'm thinking, in biology we have kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, and sometimes they even like subdivide them even further. And that allows us to get from 3 domains, we can get every single species on planet Earth categorized by kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So ChatGPT didn't really understand that I was kind of saying that maybe there are only 3 layers to this, which is like kingdom or domain, phylum, class. So I guess I even messed it up, right? I missed kingdom. Whatever. So, this is a difficult question. Take your time and be creative. Thought I'd throw that in there as well. It didn't seem to take its time. It just spat this out. So, the act of mindlessly scrolling on platforms like TikTok can indeed be challenging to categorize within the traditional not die or improve domains. However, considering the complex interplay of psychological and physiological responses involved in such behaviors, we can creatively explore and fit this action into the framework we've established. Here's an attempt to classify this behavior phylogenetically in the context of action drivers. So, here it is. If you've ever wanted to know the phylogeny of TikTok action driver whatever. I don't know, but this is hilarious. All right? So, kingdom or domain, enhance one's state of being. Fair enough. All right? I think that it might be at first, ChatGPT even says this, at first glance, mindlessly scrolling may not seem like an enhancement activity. However, if we consider the broader interpretation of enhancement as including immediate emotional or psychological states, then this domain becomes applicable. Right? So I'm going to make a lot of videos on like what type of content to consume. I have a video coming out about how the only type of content you should consume is self-improvement content. where the backbone of that video is that entropy is always... I just realized I didn't have my microphone very close at all. Hopefully it wasn't too quiet. I'll watch it back and make sure it wasn't. So, the action serves to alter one's current state, often seeking a form of psychological reward or escape, right? So that's totally true. Totally on board with that. TikTok, domain, enhance one's state of being, but just in the meantime. So, pleasure and avoidance of pain. That's the phylum. Totally agree. Class, seeking novelty and social connection. Makes sense, right? Pleasure, avoidance of pain. Order, intermittent reinforcement. See, this is where it starts to get a little choppy because ChatGPT is really trying to fit it into each of these things. But I think, honestly, you could break it down in much less steps. Family, digital consumption patterns, characterized by the continuous, often unreflective consumption of digital content. Sure, I agree in general, but I think this could be distilled further. Algorithmic engagement strategies, and then the species is TikTok scrolling behavior. Look at that. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. This analysis shows how even seemingly trivial or non-productive actions can be understood as striving towards altering one's state, driven by deeply ingrained psychological mechanisms. So, that conversation alone is worth $20 to me. Like, Sam Altman, OpenAI, you just paid for yourself, because it would have taken me all day to digest that type of information. Now, maybe I should still take all day and think about this. Maybe not. Maybe I should, find some way to hire a hitman on me so I can get my YouTube to 100,000 subscribers in 1 month. But I would probably be pretty unhappy while I'm doing it, because I would be worried about dying, and I would probably be very unhealthy because I would have to sacrifice a lot of other areas of my life. A lot of other areas of my life. So, that is the whole video. I'm going to try to get Neil Degrasse Tyson to watch this, because I think that he would really like it, honestly. Like, if this video was made by one of his friends and they could just text it to him, maybe this is hubris, but I think he would enjoy watching it. So, Neil Degrasse Tyson, if you are watching this, thank you. Hopefully you smiled along with me, because it's kind of hilarious that this type of... It's just an interesting kind of meshing of thoughts. It's Sunday. I'm very grateful to be alive. I had a great night last night socializing, and I'm feeling sharp in the mental space. So, thank you for watching. If you're new here, welcome. The video's over, but if you're sticking around and you got this far, you probably have already subscribed, to be honest, because that was a stretched out video. But if you haven't, subscribers to this channel are people who enjoy or want to enjoy further the growth of themselves. And so that's what I'm here for. That's what I enjoy talking about. And obviously it will be very good for me, little selfish action right here, to have a large part of my life trying to figure out how to improve. That seems like a pretty good chess move right there to me. But who knows? All right. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to watch a video on how small wins can help you actually pick what passions you have in life, then you can check out this video right here.